I know that it's not by his family. How do I?
Tradition. Yalla, 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 yalla. Oh my duo. Yeah. Okay.
The parade commander, military academy, and the academy sergeant major. The smart looking stakeholders you see today are Lance Corporal, HR, and Private Assignon.
way that come here. We
permanent staff from the Ghana Army. This is under the command of Senior Cadet. Posted to the Ghana Military Academy as a drill instructor in April 2010, where his remarkable work ethic and mastery of drill quickly made him a pillar of the institution. Thank you, Mr. President.
For being the best midshipman in naval academics, the Chief of Defense Staff Prize essay presented to Senior Cadet French Paulina.
The Minister for Defense has informed me that the Ghana Military Academy, as we see it today, has only undergone its first phase of expansion, and it is awaiting a second phase and even a third phase. In complementing the need to make the facilities more functional, I'll give attention to your urgent requirement for a sports complex with a modern gymnasium and a swimming pool. And also the construction of an outer perimeter road to facilitate training in the academy. Distinguished guests, our sub-region is affected by the scourge of terrorism. Terrorist attacks close to our northern border have become a regular feature. Ghana is also not immune from the influence and effects of the complex challenges posed by the global security environment. This is because globally non-state security actors are becoming, or in some instances, have already become central and pivotal. This situation requires a comprehensive approach to state security, and one cannot underestimate the importance of active participation of all our citizens in the security and stability of our state. As citizens of Ghana, we must recognize that the nature of contemporary threats that confront us demand that we do not perceive our security services as the exclusive institutions responsible for our safety and security. The complementary roles of individuals, organizations, and the government in national security is of critical importance. I urge our citizens in discharging this complementary duty of helping to safeguard our security not to behave like the shepherd boy in the famous fable who cried, "Wolf, wolf," when there was no wolf. If we behave like that boy, either for partisan or parochial interest, we distract the attention of our security services from focusing on their critical job of keeping us safe. Let us support our security services and the Ghana Armed Forces with information that is useful and intelligence that is helpful, that will advance their work rather than retrogress it. Let me reiterate that we will take all allegations of crime seriously and trigger our security service investigative machinery to go after criminals no matter who they are. But let me state emphatically also that we do not have the resources and time to engage in any game of smoke and mirrors every step of the way. To our graduating cadets, you are being commissioned at a time when the sub-region is facing security threats. These threats have the tendency to erode our collective security gains. I encourage you to remain resolute and committed as you work very hard to improve on the legacy left by your predecessors. Embrace that legacy and carry it forward with pride. Under my watch as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, merit-based promotions hinged on competence and not connections will be the norm and not the exception. We will also expand opportunities for non-commissioned officers, NCOs, to access officer cadet training. I believe every soldier should have a fair chance to rise optimally through the ranks, and especially when they merit it. As a hallmark of my administration, exhibited across all sectors, will ensure professionalism and transparency within the Ghana Armed Forces. We will address the most pressing concerns of our troops, starting with the need for quality housing. We will focus on constructing new housing units in the barracks while refurbishing dilapidated and abandoned military accommodation across the nation. We believe that no service personnel should have to endure substandard living conditions. In addition to improved accommodation in our barracks, we will establish the Armed Forces Home Ownership Scheme to provide officers and soldiers with the opportunity to own their own private homes. This will provide our military families with the comfort and security that they deserve. We'll prioritize the welfare of our troops and our civilian defense staff. Already the Ministry of Defense is working to fix the acute feeding challenges that we inherited from the previous administration. The strategy is three-pronged. First is providing emergency food supplies. The second is paying food suppliers on time while retiring their outstanding debts we inherited. And the third is partnering the private sector to venture into mechanized farming under the Defense Industry Holding Company Limited. My dear military personnel and civilian staff, I am determined to systematically improve your conditions of service. DHOC will be one of our key planks in providing sustainable financing for the Ghana Armed Forces. Your sacrifices deserve recognition. For our retired personnel who have sacrificed so much for your nation, we ensure that your retirement benefits are paid promptly. Distinguished gallant officers, soldiers, and defense civilian staff, your health is also a priority. We have a viable vision to upgrade your medical health facilities. We will therefore complete and equip the Kumasi Military Hospital at Afari in the Central Command. We've also budgeted for a military field hospital in Tamale. We want you and your families to have access to quality health care. The Defense Industries Holding Company, which is the commercial wing of the Armed Forces, will further see to the revamp of the defense production lines to produce clothing for our men and women in uniform, to produce boots and accessories for the Ghana Armed Forces and other security services. Within a 24-hour economy, the Engineer Corps will also be licensed to participate in commercial ventures for the Ghana government and will be paid for it. This will go alongside expanding and equipping the Engineer Corps to undertake national emergency projects. Your skills will not only protect the nation, but will also help support the 24-hour economy initiative. To the graduating cadets, today marks the beginning of a new chapter in your lives. You are no longer officer cadets. You shall soon be officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. The nation looks up to you with expectation, hope, and confidence. You are part of the future of our Ghana Armed Forces. Your actions will shape the destiny of our nation. Remember that leadership is neither about rank nor privilege. Leadership is about responsibility and service. I urge you to lead with integrity, courage, and compassion. I encourage you to be officers who inspire loyalty. I expect you to be leaders who earn respect and uphold the highest standards of professionalism. In your journey as serving officers, you will face challenges. However, I trust that with the resilience, determination, and skills that you have gained at this prestigious military academy, you will be well prepared for the task ahead. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to commend and congratulate the award recipients, especially Senior Under Officer Mustafa Salim Danabja, who has been adjudged the overall best cadet of regular career course 63, and also the overall best cadet in the Army faculty. Junior Under Officer Nakobu Abdul Hamid Muhammad, the overall best cadet in military skills. Junior Under Officer Kwatin Michael Ousu, the overall best cadet in academics. Junior Under Officer Loko Fred Akakra, the overall best cadet from the Naval Faculty. And Junior Under Officer okay, I said that already. Nakubu, okay, he got a second one. Nakubu Abdul Hamid Mohammed, the overall best cadet from the Air Faculty. The last but not the least, commendation goes to Commandant's Best Company, Abyssinia Company, for emerging as the overall best company during the period of training of Intake 63. To all the award winners, I say Aiko and endeavor to keep up the good work. Now, may I request all present here to please rise for the conferment of the Presidential Commission on the Graduating Officer Cadets. I, as President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, do hereby grant you, the graduating officer cadets of regular career course 63, the President's commission into the Ghana Armed Forces. Congratulations. I wish each one of you success in your career. Remain patriotic, disciplined, and responsive at all times. Long live the Ghana Armed Forces. Long live the Ghana Military Academy. The Ghana Armed Forces is engaged in several theaters to maintain peace and security in our nation. One major flashpoint continues to be the Boku area. Only 2 days ago, an incident in a marketplace triggered an unfortunate loss of lives and criminal vandalism of property. I wish to emphasize that nobody gains from this situation of conflict and insecurity. We have triggered the Otumfo mediation process, which saw all stakeholders participate in discussions in Kumasi on a roadmap towards peace. I'm assured by the Asantehene that the process will resume next week when he returns from his brief visit abroad. Congratulations to our armed forces for the sacrifices you have made, even at the peril of your lives, to protect life and property in the Boko conflict area. We need the cooperation of all to restore peace in Boko and its environs. And I entreat all sides to embrace peace as we dialogue to resolve this age-old dispute. The distinguished guest, plans for the expansion of the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure increased capacity to counter both internal and external threats were initiated while I was in office in my previous term. During this period, we supervised the acquisition of air, land, and sea assets to equip the armed forces to fulfill their mandate of keeping our nation safe. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in resetting our nation to build the Ghana we want, my government will aggressively pursue the ideas of operational and combat readiness of the Ghana Armed Forces. We will resource the Ghana Armed Forces. This means better equipment, including more simulators, advanced training, and the ability to mobilize swiftly in times of need. You will be equipped to excel in your duties. We shall assess the retooling initiative and facilitate cost-effective outcomes to equip our army to the standards required for a 21st century defense force. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we revel in the significant achievements of our young regular career course 63 graduates who are ready to secure Ghana's peace and sovereignty, we must also reflect on Ghana's illustrious legacy in international peacekeeping. We pride ourselves in our nation's commitment to global peace and security. Indeed, this has not been a recent endeavor. It dates back to the 1960s when, under Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of blessed memory, Ghana participated in the United Nations peacekeeping force deployed in the Republic of Congo. Today, I pay profound tribute to the Ghanaian military martyrs who made the ultimate sacrifice in the Congo and other places. For the youth of today, let me inform you that the Congo Junction at the entrance of Bema Camp is a constant reminder of the sacrifices of our gallant men and women in uniform. Graduates, this is a noble and sacrificial profession, respected by all men and women, that you are being commissioned into today. You must sustain and enhance the momentum and add to the gains of your forebears and be ready to defend Ghana even at the peril of your lives. Since the 1960s, Ghana has remained unrivaled in our commitment and dedication to the cause of international peace efforts under the banner of the United Nations, the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, and other mandates. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center has also deepened our understanding and improved our engagement in peace support operations. Indeed, Ghana is ranked the 7th largest troop contributing country to United Nations peace support operations. Globally, our officers and soldiers serve in 15 missions with a deployed strength of over 2,600 military personnel. Presently, Ghana has personnel in Lebanon, in South Sudan, Abyei, the Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Syria, Cyprus, the Central African Republic, Libya, Western Sahara, Morocco, Yemen, and Somalia. Our commitment to peacekeeping will continue as our contribution to creating a peaceful world for all. To maximize our national interest and well-being of the troops, we will streamline peacekeeping operations in line with UN requirements to yield the rewards that reflect our contribution on that global stage. The practice of fairness and integrity will be central as we enforce transparency in the selection process for peacekeeping duties. Together with your hard-working military high command, we shall ensure that the most qualified officers and soldiers are given the opportunities to serve. Distinguished guests, our deployment has been gender-sensitive, making Ghana Armed Forces the standard bearer in the deployment of formed female soldiers across peacekeeping missions. Ghana has exceeded the United Nations gender target for gender deployment. For formed troops, Ghana has deployed 24.62 females, higher than the United Nations target of 9%. And Ghana has deployed 23.3% female for staff officers and military observers in excess of the UN target of 14.21%. Congratulations to our women in uniform. Apart from helping to maintain global peace and security, the exposure of the Ghana Armed Forces and its troops to the negative effects of war and undemocratic change in government has been of benefit to national development. It is therefore in order that the Ghana Armed Forces continues to maintain its support for the Constitution and the state and the maintenance of our democratic system of government even in the face of coup d'etats across our sub-region. And that is why today, as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, on behalf of the people of Ghana, I have worn the uniform of the Ghana Navy to identify with our men and women in uniform. We are in solidarity with you, and we will support you